Jaguar Wright. We were talking about in the pre-show. If you're here, for those that weren't, but we were talking about her, and I know she sang with Hov, and she had a couple actually. Some of her projects were actually dope. I'm not sure what she's put out, since we'll call it, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. She may have continued to be putting out music. But I know some of her early stuff was cold, but she's been in the news. One album. I know that first one was cold.
She put out that first one on MCA, and I really did like that one. I bought that.
That first one was good.
Illusions and something else. That was actually a dope album. And then she put out Divorcing Neo to Marry Soul. I didn't feel that one as much. She did have a song on there called Free I really like, and she's put out a couple of EPs.
Okay.
But because that first album, of course, is on a major label, and then she went independent, and you know how that can go.
Yeah. Hey, good looking out, Jay. I didn't know that, so I didn't want to try to play her. I just wasn't familiar with that catalog that much after that first album. But she's been in the news, man, and she has some strong accusations about Common, about Roots, and just in general that whole crew. We know they used to roll together, the Soul Aquarians, especially around Electric Circus times and stuff like that. But didn't see the live video. I just pulled the comments. And I'm gonna try to paraphrase here, but basically Jaguar Wright is saying that after a show, like she was extremely tired coming back from a show, and back into the hotel room, and I guess Khan was trying to egg her on to be like, "Yo, what's up?" And she's like, "Nah, I just want to lay down." And I'm going through some of the quotes here. She was like, "I was on stage all night. I want to lay down." Then she says she laid in the bed with all of her clothes on because she's a rape survivor, which I didn't know. So she says that if you're gonna try to pull my pants down, by the time you get my pants down, I promise I'm knocking you in your jaw. Like, this is what she's saying on her live. Next thing she says, the next thing I know, I wake up in the morning and I feel something poking at my face, and I open my mouth, and they said she said, I'm gonna quote, I'm not gonna say that. She said it was Common's manhood that was around her mouth when she woke up after she fell asleep. She's like, Lonnie fucking Lynn, Rashid Common, whatever you want to call yourself. And she was like, that's why I stopped messing with him from that point on. I think Lone actually pulled a quote as well about Malik B. Rest in peace. Malik B. passed away from the Roots. But we'll get into that later, talking about the lyrics and Black Thought and all that type of stuff. But what do you guys think about this? Because this just kind of, it blindsided me to hear, her just go on a rant. My man Nate Jeezy said that there's like hours of this, like there's not just the ones that we pulled, the one I pulled for the show, like there's multiple videos and it extends out longer for accusations. You guys think about this. I'll come to you first, Lon. What are your thoughts on this, just with Common and just as a whole?
Well, it's unfortunate to hear. Those are my comments. I mean, I'm not going to speak on the validity of what it may or may not be. If she says that this is what it is, then that's probably what it was.
Right.
So it's weird. The thing to me is that we're seeing so many of these accusations right now, just in the last 5 years or so, that it's and this is, for better or worse, definitely worse probably, it's very easy to just kind of think, wow, there's another one.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what came to my mind with reading that. And, I know that's some male privilege, I guess, realistically, but it's, I don't know, man. It's unfortunate. I as you guys found out in the pre-show, I didn't even know who Jaguar Wright was at all. So, but this was, I'm guessing, pre-Erica, if we're thinking timeline. So pre-Erica, but I'm guessing late 90s. And so it's tough. It's just tough when it's like so much later. It's hard to wrap my head around it, and to like have any type of real like the comment, and shouts to Sean Orr. But yeah, it's just hard to have like an opinion on it at this point in time, because I personally feel it's none of my business, but at the same time, you know, it is a serious accusation. So I'm obviously flip-flopping here, but it's, you know, it's just what it.
No, it's, I mean, there's mad gray area here, so I understand where you're coming from. Like, you know, it's one of those things, like you said, it's unfortunate, but you can't say that due to the times. You can say, oh, there's another one. I don't know if that's insensitive per se, but it's just like, it just is what it is. Like, we see this happen a lot in terms of the things that pop up. So I understand where you're coming from there. Jay Diff, jump in, man. Like, what are your thoughts about this? The timing, you know, the execution, you know, with it being on live and all that. Like, how do you feel about it?
Man, I mean, I'm not sure. I would kind of want to hear comments out of the story, see what's going on that way, because I mean, there's only one angle right now.
Right. That's true.
I hate to make light of the situation, but why would he just have his dick in her face when she wakes up?
Right.
I mean, I hope he wasn't looking to get his dick sucked while she was asleep.
Right.
Yeah, that's not.
I mean, that's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really have much to say about it other than what Lon pretty much already touched on, as far as the I hate to call it a nuance, but the trend of people coming out later in time with accusations, and in some cases they are true and they just deal with the trauma, and I can understand that, but in other cases it's not true. It's a matter of wanting clout chasing, so to speak. You know, that's the new thing, clout chasing. So I'd like to hear both sides of the story before I could actually give an honest opinion of what's going on. I don't know her. I don't know where she's at in life. I don't know if she's been through some things or she's making up stuff. Anything, you know, like what you said, Nate Jeezy said she was going on for hours about certain things. So I don't know. I can't really speak on it.
Jay Moore, go ahead. I'm coming to you last on this one. Is it one of those situations where you want to hear from Common first before you try to, you know, I guess deduce or come up with something? Like, how do you feel in terms of that? Do you want to wait on Common before you get too far?
Well, one of the things that, you know, when I first saw this story this afternoon, I almost wanted to say, you know, I did say this. I did, you know, there was no one around, so I said this to myself, essentially. Well, why now? But I also realized that's part of having male privilege, is where you can hear something like this and just question the timing. But, you know, there's always been that, you know, I heard someone say this, like, you can't heal what you don't reveal. And I don't know what made her decide that she was going to air out all these people now, but it might be her trying to get into her healing process. But at the same time, you know, when the Me Too thing jumped off a few years ago, there was kind of a something where people would say, believe all women. And I have a certain level of pushback against that, because I think we should listen to all women. I think we should listen specifically, in this case, to Jaguar Wright, but we should believe all proof. But see, the hard part about that is, if it's a real he said, she said thing, there was no police report filed, or there was no other person in the room, this is how it's going to end. Because Common, all he has to say is, no, I didn't do anything like that. She must be mistaken. And because, quite honestly, he's a man and he is a more prominent figure within entertainment. You know, people know Common. He's got the Grammys, he's even got an Oscar.
This ain't just Common the rapper. Yeah, this ain't Common.
Just Common the rapper. So we're talking about someone who's very famous, who probably Jaguar Wright at that time. Like I said, I'm saying if this happened, because once again, it is he said, she said. There's no way she would realize that Common would be as famous as he is now. You know, at that there was a time where it was looking like Common's career was over at one point around the early 2000s, because like he, you know, when everybody else is selling 5-6 million records and you're doing 350,400, which would be great today. That's just not someone you see being a big star 20 years down the line. Like I said, I want to hear from Common. I don't, this isn't something you could ignore. Not in 2020. These are serious accusations. Like, she made some serious accusations about some other people, but at the same time, I believe the most serious one from the video I watched, when you're talking, because she said say something, if Common would do something like this, what was described, like, that's the kind of cat that would do damn near anything, I don't doubt that. And so, but also this is where it's going to get tricky, because a lot of times people say, oh, that guy, that particular entertainer would never do anything like that. But then all it takes is that first person to say, this is what happened to me. And then all of a sudden it's going to be, because for the longest time it was like Bill Cosby would never do anything like that, because we kind of think of Common as a wholesome character. And the thing is, I've met him. He said, not that we got to be friends and I got his phone number, but he seems like a genuine dude. He's one of those people in celebrity relationships, in a way we felt sorry for, because he and Erykah Badu, he writes about this in his book, were being abstinent. And then one day she shows up pregnant by like the DOC or somebody. And so, like, in a way, he's always had this nice guy image, but really, I mean, Bill Cosby was America's dad. So
check this out, though.
I don't want to cast aspersions.
Common used to bang Vice Lord. He really ain't always had the squeaky clean image.
Oh no, I mean, because I know people who knew him.
He was Common Sense, the Vice Lord.
Yeah,
when he came here on some banging shit.
Young Wild, you can hear that in his first couple of albums.
Common was straight off 87, 100%.
If you've enjoyed this segment of the New Old Heads podcast, make sure to join our live show every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/bringingdowntheband, and join our private Discord community with talks on hip-hop, music, news, and everything else. Links in the description below.